So I can honestly say I haven't really seen a body mount installed this poorly. This is a 95 Ford F-250 I purchased. I knew it needed a cab mount when I bought it, and so here's the new cab mount here. Pretty heavy duty piece of metal. And I forget the gauge on it. This is the left side for the Ford. There it is right there. Oh, it's starting to rain, of course. I'm trying to do something outside. So I took off the wheel and the inner fender, and if you don't know how to do that, I'm sure there's lots of videos online. It's not very difficult. So I have a couple of repairs to do in here. There's a little bit of rust, and there's the electronics box. So I'll fix that up a little bit, and I got to tuck some wires out of the way because I have some welding to do, and I'll have to take up the carpet inside. But this is what they did. The body mount went, so here's the part of the old body mount, and if you look at the new one, you can see the hole here and the, oops, sorry, upside down. You can see the hole here and the hole here and the ribs. Okay, and here is the two holes and the ribs. So that goes up this way. Okay, and the body mount bolts through this hole. So I'm going to change this park brake cable too, I guess. And so they cut it off here, and they cut it off in the back, and they took a piece of flat bar and a piece of angle, and they used a socket and a bolt to support the cab. And this job is just atrocious. I'm gonna cut this right out of here and get rid of that. So I mean, you can see where they welded the angle up here in the front. Okay, and they didn't cut out the entire, I mean the bottom usually rusts out and the mount probably pushed up through. Here's the body mount here, and I have a new one of those. And so we're going to cut that angle back and cut it out, that angle they put in there. And if you they did a good job cutting it off. It mounts in about right here, welds in across here. So this here angle is what they welded in, and then this flat bar, and then they put a, looks like a 1/2-inch drive socket here, 7/8 or 15/16, and they bolted up through to the flat bar, which is bending, of course, because it's got no support up the front of the cab, because it's supposed to go up mounted to the front of the cab along here, and back to here, welded up there. You got to remove the carpet inside before you weld. You'll burn the carpet unless you don't have any carpet. And this one has carpet, although it's not in very good shape. And so then when you weld that in, this here goes up against that piece and sits on that and bolts through. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to change this cable here. I changed the two back ones. You can see where the new extension is joined in here. I didn't order the front one because it does work, but I think while I got it apart, I'll change it. Anyway, unless you're really stuck in the woods and got to get out and you're forced to do this, don't do this. This is, the cab feels like it's wobbling when you're driving it. It's just horrible. It's horrible work. So we'll just see if I can show you on this side, because this one here is, I recall, is good. So here's basically, this one here is actually, doesn't look like it, but it is actually pretty solid. So here's the cab mount. Here it is welded in here, and it goes up the front. Now somebody cut a piece out of here, because this piece is not supposed to be gone, so they probably cut it to get access to in here. And I think I'll end up changing this later on in the year, just because, but it's solid right now and it'll pass an inspection. So this is basically how it's supposed to be, and it's supported up the front of the cab and on the back here, and then the cab mount sits on here like this. So we'll fix the other side, and we'll bring you along for the ride and show you what we're doing as we go along.